I've been telling everybody at my school site, and I'm like, if you could take all of the different, because we've been through Lindamood-Bell, we've done all the thinking maps training. Long Beach is very much into professional development. We are very well trained. And it's, if you took all of them and thought, okay, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, let's just take this and this and this. And that's what you guys have done. Streamlined it, put it together, and said, here we go. It's really important that a 13-year-old can start it and feel good about himself, and a 5-year-old can start it and feel good about themselves, because there's no stigma in there.
I was hoping to get to say something, Steve. So I'm 57, and I've been tutoring kids since I was 25. So it's been like more than 25 years. And I've been through Orton programs and LIPS and several other ones. And I remember the first time I made the connection between LIPS and Orton, because my speech therapist I was working with, we just hashed together what we could do to try to, because we had the same population of kids. She was doing phonemic awareness with LIPS, and I was doing Orton, and realized we had the same population. So we started working together, and it was just neat to see what happened when we kind of like took the best of both and put them together. And I'll just be honest, when I started reading your descriptions and starting to watch your videos, I just started laughing, because I just was so excited, because it was exactly what we had been trying to do. Of course, yours is much more elaborate. You've been writing all this curriculum and all these stories, but some of the descriptions and some of the ways you teach rules and what you cut out. I have the whole Wilson set that I never use, because you have to go through 5 books to get through short vowels. And it was just, it was just delightful. I was like, it's the man from my own heart. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to tell you that from my heart. I appreciate all the work you've done, and that you're willing to give it to the world to help kids. So very, very, very grateful.
Well, you've been 25 years teaching. It took me 25 years to develop the program, because I was involved with one Orton I was an expert in, but I basically dealt with 4 others. I did LIPS, and I did reading recovery. I was aware of that. I did whole language, Nancy Andwell, Will Lebanon, Donald Graves, and all that bunch. And, you know, it took each year or two, I'd make shifts. The LIPS was a big shift, because suddenly I realized the linkages, we don't need those. We just need to do mouth and point of sounds. Now they basically had you do the sounds and put them next to pictures. Right. I found early kids with dyslexia or reading problem don't need that. Right. And so I just made that more efficient and cut that out. But really my spell and read sounds was somewhat designed from LIPS.
Right, in the shape of your letters. I recognize
yeah. Big dipper, crestwing, that's their vowel circle.
Exactly. I mean, I recognize so much of what you put on there, like, oh my gosh, I know exactly where that came from. And It's just been really awesome.
The thing is, they don't do much. They do something with the R family, but they don't do much with the other. And that's where I have the world, the green, yellow, and red world. But they were a basis of that. New concept is Orton based. But I realized kids don't remember all these crazy rules, so I combined them and shortened them and made them weird. And that was a key factor there. And then the spelling of sounds and reading of spelling the syllables was modeled after LIPS tracking. Initially, I'd go, okay, Pip, you have a lip popper, and Tip is a lip popper or a tip tapper. I did all that, and then I started to go, I don't need the mouth, so I pulled that out. Now I don't need to build an old new word, which is what we did there. We build lip, and then I just need to give the new word. So that took a few years to make that modification. The reading is, go ahead.
Oh, I like the way you raise it up instead of have to go it to at and have to say all of it in like the long process. That you would just lift it up instead. I like that. I thought that is a nice modification. I think it is much faster.
And that process took a couple of years for me to figure out just working with kids. I thought, well, I don't need this. See, I still tutor, so I'm still working with kids, so that helps. And then the spelling is kind of LIPS and Orton put together. The pressure release is my own invention. When I found kids would just read a bit and complain or not enjoy it or get tired and yawn all the time. So I figured out a system that once they struggle once or twice, and they're burning oxygen and that. I take over, and I found I could get it up to 20, 25 minutes of reading often by doing that. And the reading of words. And then writing is just basically basic English writing, you know. So, but that alone would not have worked. All those changes until I wrote the books. Because an 8th grader who's a start 2 doesn't want to read Tales of Youth. He wants to read Moonlight Tales, or he wants to read Chronicles of Yore. A 4th grader who's really gifted may want to read Tales of Mystery because it's an animal book, etc. A boy may want to read Tales of Adventure. So it was the writing of the books, which took another 4 or 5 years, was crucial, you know, because that's why a lot of kids just view phonics as sounding out words. They don't get to read. If you talk to phonics teachers, here's what I hear phonics teachers saying. What's your lesson look like? Well, we do the reading, the naming deck, the reading deck, the spelling deck, new concept. We do handwriting. We do spelling, and then we do reading of words, some real words, and then we're done. We are out of time. I said, well, where's the reading of books? Well, we don't have time for that. You know, the premise is if you can read the words, you can read, which is not correct. So it was that, and then shifting the amount of time in reading in the plan. So I like to try to get it half the period if we can. That's another big change because you get better reading by reading.
That was another thing that I was trying to do with my kids too, was to have more time reading with them. And that was also a delightful thing. But I'm just so grateful that I feel like this is a big piece of what I was missing, is having, because all my kids are in middle and high school. So they're older kids who don't want to read things like, you know, Magic School Bus. They want to read things that feel like they're reading real literature, but stuff that they can read. So I'm just really thrilled. The stories just, you know, they don't feel babyish at all. It's been fun to see, like, oh, I know where that came from. Oh, I know where that came from. It's actually been a lot of fun to see that. So I'm very, very grateful.
Hey, where do you think my color system came from?
Color system. Okay, wait, you mean for the color of the sounds?
Yeah, the green, yellow, and red. And
I'm assuming that might be Wilson.
Mine precedes Wilson by a decade at least. Is Slingerland.
Oh, Slingerland. Okay, sure.
How I set up the board was also influenced by Slingerland.
Okay, really?
The idea of having the letters on one like a package was from Slingerland, and then I worked on getting it into a magnetic board and all that. But,
okay.
Yeah.